Nice having you in Australia. Want a stubby? Speak English.
Zoom it out, covering this World Cup the way you want it covered. New Zealand, Sri Lanka, first game, crunch game.
Massively crunch game. It simply doesn't get much crunchier than this, Jared.
New Zealand, what's their heels?
Their heels?
Yeah.
What, a new form of footwear? I don't know. It's hard to see an Achilles. Every team has an Achilles heel.
Okay.
I mean, let's think back through to even Achilles, the great warrior. He had an Achilles heel, famously. For New Zealand, I think it's just simply the fact that they are New Zealand. They have no discernible cricketing weakness, but the fact remains they are New Zealand, and New Zealand lose in semi-finals. 6 semi-finals, they've lost all 6 in World Cups, including 6 out of those last 6.
G'day, Cobber.
Sri Lanka have, I think, more than Achilles heel. I think they have an Achilles Achilles leg, maybe lower leg, at least an Achilles calf.
Upper calf. Do you have an upper calf?
Not personally, no.
Okay.
No, I sold it on eBay. Clearly, they have very good batsmen at the top of the order, but apart from Angelo Matthews, from 5 down, it does not look good. Statistically, they're the worst of the major test nations from 5 down over the last 4 years.
Some people might call it a crunch game. England, Australia?
I think that's one of the crunchiest games in the history of cricket. I mean, it could absolutely decide who finishes in the top 4 in that group. England's Achilles heel, I think, might be that they have too much experience. That they brought in a lot of inexperienced players, but the experienced ones they've kept. 2 of the key ones are playing really badly. Stuart Broad, the last 4 years have been pretty ordinary in one-day internationals. I don't think he's been helped by the 2 new balls rule. Has negated his effectiveness in the later overs. Owen Morgan, up till a year ago, one of England's best ever one-day players. Since then, apart from that 100 in January, he's not been great. So, frankly, I think they should have cut anyone who had more than 10 one-day caps and just thrown all the youths to the wolves.
Stumpy the Elephant, the World Cup winning mascot who seemed to have it all. Now, tragically, a broken elephant, the pachyderm who packed it in. A 110% recluse here in the zoo, Stumpy won't even come out of his elephant shed for a swim. Look, he's not there. This is his alleged home, but Stumpy is nowhere to be seen, and the other elephants, they don't care that he was once an integral part of India's 2011 World Cup victory, and they are stealing his food. And this tiger spoke to us with his tail.
Stumpy is literally big-headed. He is showbiz bigshot who deserves his comeuppance.
Even MS Dhoni doesn't write to him anymore. Stumpy is so upset he could be dangerous. The public have been warned, and there's a special gate to stop him escaping into Australia. There now seems little hope that Stumpy the Elephant, the true hero of 2011, will ever be seen in public again.
South Africa versus Zimbabwe. I'd say crunch game?
Crunch game. Hugely crunch. Probably the most important game in this World Cup between 2 teams from Africa, I would say.
Yeah, and Hamilton Madzikadze is playing his first World Cup and he's just made 100 in the warm-up game.
Yep.
So he's ready. I mean, maybe that's the reason they've never won before. They haven't had enough Hamilton.
That's true of many things. Yeah, absolutely. South Africa, well, I was at the quarterfinal in 2011 when, whether they had a choke or a panic. I've seen quite in-depth arguments over whether it was technically a choke or it was a panic. I think it was possibly a choke-aggravated panic or a panic-aggravated choke. We don't know. Possibly.
A poke.
But they have 2 of the world's greatest all-format batsmen.
Hello, everyone. I'm W.G. Grace, the greatest cricketer of all time. Trademark.
And I am legendary 19th century fast bowling moustache pioneer Fred the Demon Spofforth.
We are the official ESPNcricinfo correspondents for the 2015 ICC World Cup. Yes.
And it all kicks off at my old stamping ground, the MCG, with Australia versus, what's that funny little place on an island up north? Name escapes me, Doc. In something?
How much am I getting paid for this, by the way? I want double what he's getting, or no WG.
India, Pakistan. Some people would call it a crunch game, but I don't know if it is.
It never is really.
Yeah, there's not a lot riding on this game.
Yeah, nothing. India, clearly...
Probably too much bowling.
Good,
India, is that
it's
the
just a
problem? They can't fit all their great bowlers.
It's a question of whether their bowling can keep the opposition score below 420 to give their batsmen a chance. If they can do that, then they might be in business. But I think that's unfortunately quite a big if.
Pakistan, have they brought any random people into the squad this week? Is anyone injured?
I don't know. Their big problem is the rule on the 15-degree elbow flex.
That hasn't helped them.
That's taken Ajmal out. Hafiz now injured, but he's been removed from the bowling attack as well. Yeah. Their batting is... They have a bit of a problem hitting the ball off the square, and I say that as someone who has had a bit of a problem hitting the ball off the square since I first picked up a cricket bat. I admire that in many ways.
You're an expert in that.
It's not great for winning the World Cup, I suppose.
So the good news is, look at social media, the Pakistani fans. Congratulations out there. You've already picked your scapegoat. The reason you're going to lose this tournament is Yunus Khan. He's the man.
Yeah, well, it's good that Pakistan cricket without a scapegoat is not Pakistan cricket.
Exactly. We wouldn't feel right talking about them if they hadn't already blamed someone for a loss they haven't yet had.
Yeah, so I fully expect them to milk that scapegoat and get some lovely scapegoat cheese.